Hey there! If you're looking for a fun and easy way to earn rewards, including cash and prizes, check out the link in the video description.
For most new mothers, the first 48 hours of their newborn baby's life is purely magical. They think of little else than their new love bubble, and perhaps how much they're looking forward to a decent night's sleep. But for Elizabeth Waggett, then 36, it was also the time she was told she was facing a lifetime of paralysis, following a catastrophic childbirth injury that she was unaware had even happened. In August 2021, she gave birth to her daughter Darcy, following a grueling 72-hour labor. When it was time to get up and go to the bathroom, she realized she couldn't move. Everything from the pelvis down felt dead. Elizabeth, an artist who lives in Texas, had received an epidural injection more than 24 hours earlier. But doctors said its numbing effect should have worn off by now. A neurologist visited her bedside and believed she'd likely suffered nerve damage as a result of a prolonged stretch in her pelvis, and if the feeling hadn't returned yet, there was a chance it never would. "My world collapsed," she told DailyMail.com. "I was thinking, just like, why me? Why has this happened to me? I felt like a failure because I had this new baby and I couldn't get up to go to her. It wasn't supposed to be like that." 2 weeks later, tests showed her sciatic nerve, the largest nerve in the body that runs down the spine to the back of the legs, had sustained severe damage that was unlikely to repair. It marked the beginning of a 2.5-year nightmare which saw the new mother confined to a wheelchair for 7 months, unable to get up and tend to herself, let alone her baby. Ms. Waggett said, "My husband had to give up his job to take care of me full-time, take me to the toilet, help me shower and feed myself, as well as looking after our baby. Most days I couldn't move from the bed. And all the time I was thinking of how much of a failure I was. I thought my daughter would be better off without me. I remember wishing someone would put me out of my misery." Miraculously, and against all odds, she did, 7 months later, regain the feeling in her lower limbs, but it came with a cost. If someone was to say, "Do you know what it's like to have your leg chopped off?" I'd say, yes, because that's what nerve pain feels like. For the better part of a year she slept little more than 30 minutes most nights, jolted awake by the agony. Today, she relies on daily painkillers and weekly physical therapy and has been diagnosed with post-traumatic stress disorder, PTSD, as a result of her post-birth experience. Ms. Waggett told DailyMail.com, "It still feels like I have 2 limbs attached to my body, rather than my legs. I can't run or jump and walking long distances triggers pretty bad pain the next day, but I push myself." DailyMail.com has learned that tens of thousands of U.S. women are suffering a similar fate to Elizabeth's every year. Studies estimate around 40,000 new moms experience some form of nerve injury due to childbirth each year. A Facebook community of survivors has 2,500 members, and offers a supportive forum for victims who have suffered injuries ranging from temporary pain to permanent paralysis. It is a little-known complication that has also been acknowledged by experts leading the arena of research into childbirth injury. "We know a lot of cases of paralysis go undiagnosed because obstetricians don't typically see women for follow-up appointments," says Professor Julia Murica, perinatal epidemiologist and gynecology researcher at McMaster University. "For most people the problem resolves after a couple of months, but in some cases it can continue for 2 to 3 years. Professor Murica describes the complication as rare, but estimates prevalence to be higher than previous studies, around 2% of births, which is 72,000 cases per year. Alarmingly, she says it is likely terrifying complications like this are on the rise, as maternity units find themselves increasingly stretched with overwhelming caseloads and few specialist midwives on call. Neurologist scans too, and then 6 months after Ms. Waggett's injuries revealed she'd suffered a positioning stretch injury in her sciatic nerve. In other words, the position she was put into during labor had caused extreme damage to nerve fibers, disrupting the signals sent between her legs and her brain. The hospital staff made a critical